Kenyans throng the Twitter space to listen to the head of state. We also here making sure to follow up on the events of that, of course, including that address that was made by the president addressing a raft of matters right here in the country, perhaps in reaction to that push by the youth to make sure that we have that change in the country. We have prepared so much in relation to that and so much more. Important that you know what is happening in the world of news, of course, away from that. And that's exactly the business that we are at right now. My name is Linda Alela. This is News Now, right here on TV47. Thank you for trusting us to be the persons to bring you this news. We'll first take a look at the highlights and then we come into the details of it. Top on the hour.
I have today appointed an independent task force to carry out a comprehensive forensic audit over our public debt and report to us in the next 3 months.
President William Ruto announces new task force to audit Kenya's public debt amid a raft of directives, which also include the dissolution of 47 parastatals with overlapping mandates.
47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions will be dissolved, resulting in the elimination of their operational and maintenance costs.
Also, the president hints at making changes to his cabinet today after intense pressure from the Gen Zs and a section of civil societies.
These measures will be followed by changes in government that I will be making.
And Rex Masai, who died 2 weeks ago during the anti-finance bill protests, buried at his Machakos home. All right, we go straight to it, and the independent task force, or perhaps President William Ruto has appointed an independent task force that is to carry out audit of the country's public debt and to report back to the president within a period of 3 months. The task force will also advise on just how to manage public resources that continues to cause head in President Ruto's, that is, government. The move comes even as the country is suffering from the burden of huge debt that was taken during the previous government. The head of state a few days ago had promised to give a statement on the country's public debt and just how much has been paid so far. The head of state today also warned public servants and state officers from making contributions during Harambes.
I make this statement to highlight the actions taken in response to the overwhelming public feedback in the recent days, and to fulfill my commitment to continuously and effectively listen to the people of Kenya, and to underscore my intention to always take public contributions in good faith, applying them to enrich policy making, governance, and government programs. Public debt is and continues to be a major point of engagement and conversation in Kenya. I have today appointed an independent task force to carry out a comprehensive forensic audit over our public debt and report to us in the next 3 months. This audit will provide the people of Kenya with clarity on the extent and nature of our debt, how public resources have been expended, and will also recommend proposals for managing our public debt in a manner that is sustainable and does not burden future generations.
In the same breath, the president has appointed a 6-member task force to audit the country's public debt. The task force will be led by Nancy Onyango, who will be the chairperson, and Professor Luis Franceschi, and the vice chair. Other members are ISPAC chair Philip Kaikai, LSK President Faith Odhiambo, Engineer Shama Kiteme, and Vincent Kimosop. Abraham Rugo, as well as Aaron De Gea, will serve as joint secretaries. The presidential task force expected to conclude its mandate in 3 months. President William Ruto has said that no state officer will be allowed to participate in fundraising activities going forward. The president also directed the state officers to keep off philanthropic activities. And according to the president, the Attorney General will then prepare and submit legislation to this effect and develop a mechanism for structured and transparent contribution for public, charitable and philanthropic purposes by state officials. And of course, they have been seen flaunting wads of cash during charitable events, which has caused uproar from Kenyans. Addressing the nation on Friday, Ruto said that these changes will then be followed by others he is set to roll out soon.
State officer or public servant shall participate in public contributions or harambees going forward. The Attorney General is hereby directed to prepare and submit legislation to this effect and develop a mechanism for structured and transparent contributions for public, charitable, and philanthropic purposes. These measures will be followed by changes in government that I will be making shortly. We are determined to carry out this and other interventions to improve the quality, efficiency, and transparency in serving the people of Kenya and ensure that citizens receive maximum value for their resources from a public sector that prioritizes their welfare. I believe these changes will set out our country on a trajectory towards economic transformation, enabling us to achieve the strategic objectives of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
And still on that, addressed by the president, he has announced the dissolution of 47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions. Speaking this afternoon at State House, the president stated that the functions of the corporations to be declared moribund will be integrated within different ministries, and staff working under the state corporations will be absorbed in different ministries. The head of state, while addressing the nation, has also announced reduction of at least 50% of advisors within the public service. Budget lines for operation in the office of the First Ladies, the spouses of the Deputy President, and that of the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be scrapped.
In keeping with the enhanced austerity measures we have committed to implement and align government expenditures within the budgetary implications of the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the following actions shall be taken with immediate effect towards the realization of the new budget. 47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions will be dissolved, resulting in the elimination of their operational and maintenance costs, and their functions will be integrated into the respective line ministries. Staff currently employed by the affected corporations will be transferred to ministries and other state agencies within government. The decision to fill the position of Chief Administrative Secretaries is hereby suspended. The number of advisors in government shall be reduced by 50% within the public service with immediate effect. Budget lines providing for the operations of the Office of the First Lady, the spouse of the Deputy President, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be removed. Similarly, the budget provisions for confidential budgets in various executive offices, including my own office, have been removed, and the budget for renovations across government reduced by 50%.
Human rights organizations have called on the government to take responsibility over the deaths, arbitrary abducts and other violations that occurred during the anti-finance bill protests. They have maintained that the government needs to offer critical support to those affected. Also, they have called for adequate security measures set for all those who wish to participate. Commemoration of the Sabasaba demonstrations as planned for Sunday this week.
This is a call for accountability, a return to constitutionalism, and cessation of violations. We issue this statement as a collective of human rights actors, eminent jurists, victims and survivors, representatives and others who support the promotion of human rights, the rule of law and constitutionalism in Kenya. We issue this statement in the lead up to the commemoration of Sabasaba, a movement that was birthed in the 1990s to protest over government's corruption and repression and agitate for democratic rule in Kenya. It is unacceptable that 34 years later we continue to witness the tactics used by President Moi's regime through its security agents to suppress dissent. Such tactics included arbitrary arrests and detentions, abductions, enforced disappearances, torture, surveillance, and intimidation, and even hiring of goons to infiltrate protests.
All right, Meru County Government County Executive Committee member for Finance Ibrahim Mutwiri has now refuted the report by the Office of Controller of Budget that it spent about 1 billion shillings on foreign travels within 9 months up to March 2024. Speaking during a media briefing at the Meru County Government headquarters, Mutwiri says it would be practically not possible to spend about 903 million shillings when the total amount spent by both the County Assembly and the County Executive is 43.75 million shillings. The Meru County Government Secretary termed information being spread that is in social media platforms as political, aimed at tarnishing the Meru County Governor and her government.
Indeed, it is also in public domain that the county of Meru does not have such a huge amount of recurrent expenditure to use for purpose of travel and utilizing in luxurious and non-essential activities. It is therefore not factual that the Meru County Executive spent Kenya shillings 903 million on foreign travel expenditure. The 903 million is just a typing error during reporting by the Control of Budget, and to which an error is possible, for error is too human.
Even the person who will read it and try to circulate that information of those millions of travel the person himself may be crazy. Because how can you, when you hear there is 43, and then the assembly has used 42, then where do you get the 9 or something, million, unless to say you are crazy? A normal human being would say this is a typo.
Angry residents in Machakos County area of Matungulu sub-county, Machakos County, held a peaceful demonstration protesting against the poor state of roads in their area. The residents say that they have been reaching out to their leaders about the matter, but no action has been taken so far. The already bad situation worsened following the recent rains, with some parts of the road rendered impassable. They have appealed to the county government to urgently repair the road.
Kwa sababu ya kukosa barabara, hata security hatuna. Askari hapati access ya kuingia huku kutulinda. Sasa tunaomba, tuko na governor, tuko na MP na tuko na MCA. Wanafanya kazi yao gani? Sisi kama Kenya, hata sisi tunalipa ushuru. Tunaomba serikali kuu, kama hii serikali ndogo haiwezi, serikali kuu waingilie kati. Hii barabara ikitengenezwa itafungua security, tutakuwa na stima, tutakuwa na maji na hata tutaweza kuweza kujisaidia. Bila barabara hakuna kitu inaweza fanyika.
We need a road. When it rains, this place is full of holes, is full of potholes. I know that there is a government. I know that there is a government and there is a county that has resources. We know that we have Kura. We know that we have Kenha. And we need a road in this place.
Nataka kupeana uchumbe kwa our governor, Mama. Mama, ukiangalia hawa watu wako hapa wote ni wazee. Ni wazee. Wanalia kilio chao. Kwa sababu wewe ni gavana wetu, tafadhali wacha upate hii uchumbe, ifike kwa ofisi yako, alafu tusaidie. You need us, we need you. Iko siku itafika unatuhitaji, na iko siku inafika tunakuhitaji.
Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka is leading other Azimio leaders attending the burial ceremony of Rex Masai, the young man who died during the anti-government protests 2 weeks ago. The burial service is held at Salvation Army Ground, Kamuthanga. Thousands of Gen Zs have as well flocked to Kamuthanga village to attend the burial, chanting anti-government slogans.
Watakapokuwa wakiweka bendera ya Kenya, sisi zote tuinue mikono tuseme justice for Rex. Justice for Rex.
A gang of boys armed in machetes are wreaking havoc in Diani County after 3 people were reported to have sustained serious injuries following an attack from the gang.
People in Diani are nursing serious injuries in Musambweni Referral Hospital following a recent attack from the local gang. The gang has been carrying out robbery activities by stealing from the locals in the area, especially during the anti-finance bill protests.
Asubuhi kitu saa 1 hivi tukielekea saa 2 na walifanya kumfahamia hata hakuna kitu walimueleza na wakamwibia mpaka simu.
This comes at a time when the residents of Diani have been on the receiving end of criminal activities from various gangs.
Sasa ni kitu ambao ni ngeni, ni kitu inajulikana. Alafu wanajitokeza na mapanga live, ikionekana ni mapanga yamenolewa vizuri sana. Yamenolewa vizuri sana na wanakata kabisa.
Pale mmoja wapo akasema nisaidie tu na 50, nikampea. Mwingine akaniomba simu yangu ya touch. Sasa pale nikaanza kukataa na ile simu. Akaanza kunivuta nikuvute pale, akaanza kunikata kwa mkono na baada ya hapo akanikata kwa bega, akichwa na kanimalizia kwa mguu.
On the other hand, Kwale County Governor Fatuma Achani has called for peace in an aim for the area to return to normalcy.
Tutapata tu opportunity wakati tumepata environment yetu iko safe. Wakati environment haiko safe, hakuna vile ambavyo job opportunities zitapatikana.
Reporting for TV47, Nzuki Allen.
All right, in a bid to ensure safe movement of people in and out of the country, Kenya Airways has signed a memorandum of understanding with International Organization for Migration, IOM. This comes amidst the challenge of unemployment, which has seen a number of Kenyans seek jobs outside the country. The collaboration brings together IOM, Kenya's expertise in migration governance, and as well as Kenya Airways' extensive aviation network, that is to implement robust measures that will then identify, prevent, and combat human trafficking and equally facilitate regular pathways.
We will leverage on each other's expertise, building capacity of Kenya Airways staff in terms of training, so that they are able to identify and flag cases of human trafficking, migrants, travelers who are potentially vulnerable, who don't know where they are going. Maybe they are trapped by smugglers and traffickers. If they identify them, they'll be able to refer them, respond, and offer protection that they need. And that aligns very well with our first strategic objectives, that is intended to save lives and protecting people who are on the move.
There are two aspects. First of all, one of our core values is safety. So it's not just safety about Kenyans, about the employees of Kenya Airways, but safety of our customers, our passengers, and people who interact with us. So this MOU supports, is an anchor to our core value of safety. Secondly, ECG is about not just environment, but social and governance. So it aligns with the SDGs, the UN SDGs, particularly SDG 10, which talks to migration and also the dignity of people.
All right, Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition Labour Party, will take over from Rishi Sunak as the UK Prime Minister with the most emphatic election victory by any British political party this century. Individual constituency results oversight signalled the Labour Party will then comfortably win an overall majority.